Hi, I'm Zara Altair, and this is Right Time Focus. And once you finish your story, which is a really, really wonderful thing, it's like, yay, it's finished. Then you sort of have to switch hats and go into editing mode. Um, and all that passion that you put into your story kind of put aside, and you want to take an analytical look at how the story is constructed. So I do recommend that once you go through your own personal editing steps, you actually use an editor for the final tweakings and unbiased suggestions that they can give. But let's go through what you can do once your story is finished. And scenes are the building blocks of your story. And they go in a progression through your 3 acts, your beats, however you structure your story. And they alternate between proactive scenes and reactive scenes. And that's a good way to check on yourself and your story is if you have the alternation between the action things where things happen and your protagonist is involved with other people and they're doing things and trying to obtain their objectives and being stopped along the way and then having to regroup, which is the reactive scene where what just happened didn't work quite the way your protagonist thought it would, and they've got themselves into trouble. So at that point, in the reactive scene, your protagonist does regroup. That's exactly what they do because they're going to go through what happened and different ways that they can maybe get out of their current situation. And the main focus of the reactive scene is this decision that your protagonist makes. All right, so the first check is just to make sure that you're alternating these scenes. You don't want to have 7 proactive scenes and then 1 reactive scene. You want to carry your readers with your protagonist through everything that happens. All right, and then you can go back and go scene by scene, and this is pretty tedious, but it's not as tedious as punctuation and grammar. But it's a really important step to guarantee that your readers are going to be with your story every step of the way. Because once a reader stops turning a page, you've lost them. It's really hard to get them to come back up. They're going to have to be really bored, and you don't want that. You want your readers to go, whoa, I'm in this story, and these things are happening, and now the terrible thing has happened to the heroine, and what is she going to do? How is she going to get out of this one? That's the kind of feeling you want to inspire in your readers. So there's some ways that you can check each scene one at a time to make sure that you're bringing your reader inside that scene and inside what's happening with the character. And it doesn't matter what point of view you use, if it's third person or first person, these guidelines still apply. So speaking of point of view, the first thing you want to check is that within the scene you don't jump around between and among points of view. It's one character point of view per scene. If you find yourself skipping between what Harry's thinking and what Judy's thinking, you need to go back and fix that scene so it's one or the other. that brings the readers, every time you jump point of view, the reader goes, oh, I thought we were with Harry, now we're with Judy, what happened? So that's one thing you want to check, is that your point of view is consistent within that scene. The next scene can be, say you pick Harry for that scene, the next scene can be Judy, but within each scene you want to stick with one point of view. So, and then just what you did, you want to double check that it's either a proactive or a reactive scene, and make sure that you're moving with the action, or you're moving with the decision making that's involved after the action has occurred and more obstacles have come up. And then there are the details that keep your reader grounded in that particular scene. Where are they? Don't just have talking heads. Make sure that the reader knows if they're in a house. Are they in the kitchen? Are they upstairs in a bedroom? Are they talking on the landing on the stairway? Are they out by the ocean? Wherever that scene is, give them a sense of that place so that they aren't lost. I call it characters floating in space. When you don't know where they are. Where the heck are they? Last time they were in the Great Hall at the palace, and now it seems like they're in somebody's home, but I don't know for sure. So you want to make that really clear. Really give a sense of your setting. It doesn't have to be a great grand description. It just has to tell your reader where they are, where your characters are in the story. And then really important to give them a feel for where they are and where the characters are, and what the characters are sensing is include at least at least 3 of the 5 senses. It's best if you can get all 5 in, but sometimes, if they're not eating anything, or, it's a little hard to get certain ones in. So include at least 3 of the 5 senses. So you want touch, you want sight, you want hearing, taste, and smell. What's it like to be in that place where they are? Right? These are the details that bring your scene to life, especially if your characters are reacting with those sensory details. So if the air feels salty on your character's skin, they can have an emotional reaction. Do they like it? I'm finally at the ocean again. Or, the salt only adds to the bitterness of their feelings, whatever it takes. But you can mix those in there to really get those details inside. And of course, the biggie, the one that must be in every single scene, is conflict. So that doesn't mean just this character against that character. It's the conflict that builds the tension. So it can be character versus character. It can be character in conflict with their surroundings, that setting that you put them in. In a dark cave, they can't see anything. Are they lost? Are they frustrated? Do they feel comfortable, or do they feel terrified? All right, that is conflict as well. Conflict with the outside environment. And then there is conflict with what they're feeling. Conflict with themselves. What your character is like. I really want to obtain the objective, whatever it is that you set out for them, whether it's a physical action or a decision in the reactive scene, and they really want to do that. But within themselves, they think about who they are, and they're like, I could never climb that cliff. I couldn't. I just couldn't. Um, I'm terrified of heights, and it's the only way out. Let your reader feel the conflict in the character that is an obstacle. It's just an obstacle. So you want to make sure you have conflict. So once again, is it in one point of view for the entire scene? Is it an action or reaction scene? Is the reader clear about the setting? Do they know where they are? Do the characters know where they are? And include those sensory details from the five senses and make sure you crank up the conflict. All right, it's a checklist for looking at your scenes once your story is finished. Thanks again.